So I just saw that Sony announced the new camera RX100 Mark VII, and I'm a little pissed. Now, before I get into the heart of the video, I want to say, preface, I am a huge Sony fan. I love Sony cameras. Now, I hear people gripe, moan, and complain all the time about the color space and the color profiles and all of that kind of stuff. And that mostly comes from Canon people or Blackmagic people or Red people or other people, but I'm a Sony people. And I happen to like Sony's color space. And I found that I love shooting in S-Log3 when I finally found the perfect LUT that I actually really thought brings back all of the dynamic range, maximizes it, but also makes my footage look amazing. I liked it even more. And I'll put a link in the description below of where I got the LUT. It's not a LUT that I made. I don't do that. I found somebody that I actually bought this LUT from, and I absolutely love it to death. And I'll put a link in the description below. But I'm a Sony guy. I have just about every camera that they've put out over the last few years. I've got the A6500, I've got the A6400, I've got the A7 III, which I absolutely love. It's what we're shooting on right now. I've also got the Sony RX100 Mark VI that I've loved. Now, I will admit I've not used this camera as much as I probably thought I would, but it's because I love the A7 III, the A6400, the A6500. I love the cameras. But I am, over the next year, going to be shooting a lot of other things, like on the go, behind the scenes, and that's why I got the RX100 Mark VI. Now, most people would agree that the Mark VI was almost the perfect camera. 4K, it has the screen that articulates and goes up instead of to the side. It was the perfect camera for YouTube, vlogging, almost, because it didn't have a mic jack. Now, like I said, I love Sony. I don't know if this was thought out intentionally, that, hey, we're going to get a bunch of people to go out and spend $1,200, $1,300 on a point-and-shoot camera, and we're not going to give them a mic jack, but guess what we're going to do? Less than a year later, we're going to put out the Mark VII, and it's going to have a mic jack. So I saw earlier today where Sony Alpha put out the specs and everything, was talking about the Mark VII. And I commented back, so does that mean all of us that have Mark VIs can send our 6s back to be retrofitted with a mic jack? I said it jokingly, but in all honesty, it is kind of one of those things. When you step up and you figure that you're going to go spend, $1,200, $1,300 on a point-and-shoot camera. That, look, it's an amazing camera. It's got the 4K. It's absolutely an amazing camera. But the lack of a mic jack almost makes it unusable for doing YouTube videos or vlogging or something. I mean, the audio that you get on board was just horrible. So then you have to come up with different solutions of rigging out a point-and-shoot camera with recording audio separately and then syncing, whenever they just could have maybe made the Mark VI have the microphone jack if they had the capability. Now, I say all that to say that, will I end up buying the Mark VII? Probably, because it has the damn mic jack. And then it makes it almost the perfect camera. Because one of the things that everybody has a problem with, whether it's the A7 III like we're shooting on right now, or the A6400 that just came out a few months ago, I love that camera. The A6500, they're a little bit bigger. They're still compact size, but they're bigger and they're clunky. And when you're out in public, the last thing you want to do is have this big ass camera, right? Because most people are self-conscious, and that's understandable. So that's what made the RX line almost perfect. And the Mark V was a great camera. The Mark VI I absolutely love. I took it to an NFL game and shot some footage. I don't know if I should say that on here or not. But it looked fantastic. The zoom, I was able to really zoom in. It was the Titans versus the Patriots, so I got a lot of great action shots of Tom Brady and Marcus Mariota. And it did great. It was wonderful. I did a lot of slow motion stuff, but I wish that it had had a mic jack. So I probably will end up getting the Mark VII, because I think it might just be for vlogging like this. It could maybe outperform the A7 III. Now, it's not going to have the dynamic range that the fuller, full body, full frame cameras have. It's not going to. But honestly, these days, this day and age, we almost really don't need it. Something like this with a mic jack is pretty damn near perfect. With that being said, let's take a look at the new Sony RX100 Mark VII. Now, this is from Sony. This is what they have to say. Inside its compact body, the RX100 Mark VII is packed with everything it takes to deliver gorgeous images, which I'm sure it does, the 6 does. The 24 to 200 millimeter zoom lens, the super fast autofocus. It's got 357 point phase detection autofocus. It's got the new real-time tracking with stills and video footage. Real-time eye autofocus for humans in still and movie mode. And for animals, it's got it in stills only. It's got up to 20 frames per second blackout-free shooting with up to 60 times per second autofocus calculations and up to 90 frames per second in single burst shooting. Of course, it's 4K, plus enhanced image stabilization and an external microphone jack for high quality movie shooting allows you to capture reliably stunning imagery. Of course, the angle of view is a 35 millimeter equivalent. It's 3840 by 2160. Of course, you get your 4K in there, and you can connect the Mark VII to an HDR compatible Sony TV via USB cable to display HDR movies. It looks like it's going to be one hell of a camera. I don't know how much more of a hell of a camera it's going to be than the Mark VI or even the Mark V. But with the adage of the microphone jack, I think Sony pulled one over on us. But that's okay, Sony. I still love you. I'm still going to buy your cameras. I'm still an alpha loyalist. One more note before we get out of here. I sure wish you'd bring that A7S Mark III out pretty soon. I've heard rumors that it might be 8K. That would be nice. Of course, it would have been nice to have a microphone jack on my RX100 Mark VI, too. Thank you guys for checking out the video. It's been a while since we've done a Tech and Toys video. But when I saw that, I'm such a huge Sony fan, and I just thought, wow. Finally, they listened. Headphone jack on the new RX100 Mark VII. If you want to grab one, go out and get one. Again, it's going to be similarly priced to the RX100 Mark VI. You're looking at, I believe, $1,200, $1,300. Very expensive for a point-and-shoot camera. But for all of the features, the 4K, the microphone jack, it's probably going to be one hell of a camera. Till next time, I'm Steve Freeman. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram the most, @the Steve Freeman. See you soon.